Thank you very much. And thank you very much all for staying and listening to the stories here and a fantastic venue. We're going to change track a bit. We're going to move to Africa. We're going to move to a really exciting new copper belt called the Kalahari Copper Belt, which is between Namibia and Botswana. I first visited it some 25 years ago with Straits Resources. We were looking for oxide copper. At that time, there wasn't a single resource on the belt. We drilled looking for SXEW, and it was high acid consumption, and walked away. Some 20 years later, with Sandfire Resources, I returned to the Khomakhau deposit in Botswana, which by that time was 200 million tonnes at 2% copper, putting down 5 declines, producing 60,000 tonnes of copper. Wasn't quite what we were after at the time, but recently that sold to MMG for $1.8 billion. We were, however, excited by what Julian Hanna and his team were doing with Mod Resources, where they discovered under very shallow cover 50 million tonnes at about 1% or so copper equivalent. And eventually Sandfire purchased Mod Resources for about 170 million Australian, and I was really lucky to go back there earlier this year, see the 2 pits in production at 50,000 tonnes of copper, and from that very first hole of Julian Hanna's into production in less than 7 years, just showing what can be done in these jurisdictions. Anyway, after leaving Sandfire, James Thompson approached me. He'd put together the original Vitflay project. By then it had been drilled up to about 10 million tonnes at 1.3% copper, where we drilled some 25 years before. And we started exploring there. We chased up some soil anomalies, found malachite on surface, never drilled a hole, got 27 meters at 1.6% copper, and have continued to work on that resource base. But we realized that the copper mineralization we were seeing at Vitflay was exactly the same as that over in Botswana. That was a belt some 500 kilometers away, and over that district there's less than 100 meters of cover the whole way. We've never seen deeper than 100 meters of cover. So a 500 kilometer belt, and there's some colored maps on your desks there which show the geology continuing all the way from Namibia all the way through. We started to get big ideas. We were looking for the next Kamoa-Kakula, which had been discovered in the Central African copper belt. Some 500 million tonnes at 4% copper in reserve now, 3rd biggest copper producer in the world, and here where sedimentary copper deposits are going to become a major source of the world's copper as porphyry coppers get harder and harder to discover. So we did a deal into the Snowball project, started exploring there, and at that time a moratorium was lifted, and we started to pick up 100% owned ground. We picked up a belt of over 300 kilometers from the Vitflay project out towards the Botswana border, or onto the Botswana border, and we've picked up nearly 1% of Namibia into tenements. Very excited. We had a Fiesta project there. First drill hole got 45 meters at 1% equivalent in a 4-kilometer belt that had been known before. We've now got South 32 in. They have seen the potential, realized this is one of the major new sedimentary copper belts. They're going to spend 15 million to earn 60%. We've started work already. The $3 million budget for this year. We're working out collecting gravity at the moment, and we'll have a drill rig working in a couple of months' time. So really exciting to unlock this, have the support of South 32 and their financial backing. We've also done a strategic alliance to look for other base metal systems and types in Namibia with South 32, and they are funding that. And we've got some uranium ground in near Rossing and Bannerman's Atango. And we'll be doing some work on there now we've got our clearances. Thank you very much.